Thank you for tuning in to the Given Rugby podcast. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this isn't your first time, then you know there are some people that we have to thank. First on the list, the Cover Podcast Network. They provide all of the production, all of the video, all of the editing that you see on YouTube, and all of the great audio that you hear on your preferred podcast app. We're also proudly brought to you by cardtrader.com. CardTrader is Australia's only online marketplace where you can buy and sell trading card games like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, and also sports cards, NBA cards, NRL cards, AFL cards, NFL cards. They're all available at cardtrader.com. That's cardtradr.com. And if you sign up today, you will lock in a 3% sales commission. That means for the lifetime of your membership, of the time that you're signed up to Card Trader, you'll only pay a 3% sales commission on any card that you sell. Most other auction houses, most other platforms, marketplaces, some of the big ones, you're paying upwards of 12, 13, 14, 15, even as much as 20%. So sign up now. And finally, we are also brought to you by ASICS. Hit the link down below to buy anything you need, all things rugby, boots, apparel, sportswear, golf. They have it. Make sure you use our link because we get a nice little commission and that funds all of the stuff we like to do here. Okay, without further ado, on to the next guest.
Sorry, stop, sorry. I forgot two really important things. To help the podcast grow, we really need your help. You can do this by following our social media channels. We're at Given Rugby on your preferred social media channel. We need subscribes to our YouTube channel. Again, we are at Given Rugby on YouTube. And finally, and probably most importantly, we need positive reviews on your preferred podcasting platform. The more positive reviews we get, the more the show will get recommended to other people around the world who like rugby. Don't forget to join the Given Rugby Club. You can do that at givenrugby.com. It only costs $5 a month and it will give you access to a whole bunch of exclusive content, access to our guests, discounted merch, all that kind of thing. So please make sure you do that because that will ultimately fund this show long term and help us build out a bigger, better, broader production, more guests, better sound and all those kinds of things. So please make sure you join the Given Rugby Club. Okay, take two, I promise. Now we're on to the next guest.
Look, my line, I get ready. Feeling too trippy, get it cracking like a levy. I'ma show them all how to party if they let me. Keep the countdown and release the confetti. The party don't start till I get there. I sit aside and the rest in it ain't fair. I've been waiting on this moment my whole life. Yeah, give me my crown if it's just right. You make it look good. Watch yourself, huh? Yeah, you make it look good.
Welcome back to the Given Rugby podcast. Today I'm sitting down with one of my favourite players of all time. I do say that about everyone who comes on the show, mate. But today I do mean it. I mean it. You are one of my favourite players.
Mate.
He's a Brumbie. He is a Wallaby. He is Darcy Swain. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, mate. How are you travelling? You know, I know you've had a surgery in the off season. How are you feeling?
Yeah. Obviously, surgeries are like just a part of the game. Sort of happens. So, yeah, I'm just getting through a knee scope at the moment, a bit of a clean up. So, yeah, a bit of cartilage, a bit of meniscus floating around, and just sort of polishing off that. I'd like to be back and playing a bit more rugby now, but I'm sort of just finishing off my rehab process. So, should be back out next week or the week after, playing some more footy. Yep.
Yeah, we love to see you out on the field, but I want to take you back a little bit. You know, kind of non-traditional sort of pathway to professional footy. You know, tell us a little bit about growing up in far North Queensland.
Yeah, so I'm from Cairns originally.
Yeah.
A lot of AFL, a lot of rugby league up that way. Big Cowboys supporter when I was younger. So
JT.
Yeah, JT, Matty Bowen.
Yeah.
Big Green,
Yeah.
Paul Green man. Just loved league. You know, played it until like when I was 5 up until 13, 14 when I sort of played a bit of both.
Yep.
started playing a bit of union as well. Mum and dad sort of loved unions, loved league growing up, them too. So they just put me in it, me and my brothers, and then sort of just figured out I was probably taller and more suitable to being a lock than just like a rugby league front rower. You don't see many 2 metre front rowers these days. So.
I was going to say, Dane Tills is probably the only example off the top of my brain.
Big David Clemmer. There's a young fella from the Broncos.
Yeah.
I saw him play on the weekend.
Yeah.
He's like 205, I think. And he's, blokes are saying he's massive, Like that's, Nick Frost, sort of, Caden
That's
Neville.
big.
Yeah, that's sort of just like a big, good lock, good size for a lock. So, I was just at that sort of, that percentile in my age group, and it was just no good. It was getting chopped in league. So,
there's a lot of surface area, right?
Yeah. So I just had to stick to one, and just thought union was for me, and then played a few rep teams and whatnot with my brothers, the mighty North Queensland Bush Rangers.
Yeah, the Bush Rangers.
Yeah, the Bush Rangers, Peninsula, sort of through that school system, and then. Just got lucky enough to get picked up and go to a private school.
Yeah.
Because
there are some scholarships available, right?
Yeah. So I think the way the GPS system works, they go out look for kids to put in their rugby union programs with a league or AFL or just like an athletic background, and then you play rugby union for the school. And that was sort of what me and my brothers did. So, I was just lucky enough to pick one up there and went to Brisbane Boys College. Got a lot out of that, my time there. And then from there, sort of same thing, made your Queensland schools and your Aussie bars sort of thing. And then, sort of just got the opportunity to come down here after school. There wasn't really anything tracking for me up in Queensland. Would have probably just been playing club footy, like no academies or under 20 sort of things going there. So I just thought, I'd take a chance, and my manager and Tim Sampson sort of were talking, and then just the opportunity to come down here with Russell Ingram, the head coach back then, and he just said, come and play 20s, there's a good opportunity to hopefully, Rory Arnold, Sam Carter, Blake Enever, those guys.
Yep.
They were sort of, they weren't old, but they were sort of on their way and transitioning to the next sort of overseas.
Because they'd kind of, Sam had played a little bit for the Wallabies, so had Rory, but they were, as you say, getting to the back half. Yeah. And there's, when you're not sort of a stalwart in that Wallabies program, there's an opportunity to make a bit of money. So can't blame them.
That's right. And then that was sort of an opportunity for me to come and sit behind them, and just played a couple of years and at the Tuggeranong Vikings, the mighty Redmen, got a chance to do NRC. They don't have that anymore, but
it's funny. The NRC's come up a couple of times on this podcast. Everyone misses it.
No, I do, mate. Like it's just, mate, we play Super Rugby for a couple of months and then we do nothing for the rest of the year. Like
it's tough.
It's tough life. But I mean, we've got to be playing more rugby. It's just silly. I don't know
mate,
how to play it.
Mate, I agree with you. I have a very close family relationship to a current All Black.
Yeah.
And he was here in Canberra, then he went down to Melbourne, and now he's playing for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
But when he first got there, he played did his preseason with, he was at the Highlanders at the time. Did his preseason with the Highlanders, sort of was started on the bench for the Highlanders, and then throughout the year sort of got more and more opportunities to start.
Yeah.
Then instead of going sort of straight into an international program or nothing, he played a whole season with Tasman. And then did that tour with the New Zealand Maori, and so played a lot of really high quality footy. And I think if you asked him, and maybe I will if I can get him to come and sit down, he I think he would say that first year in New Zealand really propelled him towards success because he was playing a lot of high quality footy.
Yeah, bloody oath. It's just, I think we're missing that at the moment. So it'd be good to get that back because my memories of it was bloody good.
It was I've spoken fondly about it. I played a season with the Sydney Stars as a jersey up there. On the wall there. One of the defunct defunct.
Yeah, they just went missing.
Yeah. Well, I can tell it's funny because I got called in mid-year, and then at the end of the season, had my review and all positive, like come back next year. So I was amped because I was like, cool, like because I was never going to crack the Canberra Vikings. He had Benny A.
Yeah,
there was a lot of really
brothers,
good, Smith brothers, and then Sione Taula,
Big C,
some really awesome front rowers, and I was a borderline first grader at times, so getting that opportunity was like my Wallabies cap,
bloody nice.
So really positive, like come back next year, we'll have a go again, and then so. Finish in November somewhere there, and then around June, July, when the teams are starting to get picked, I get a text message from someone at Sydney. I don't even know who it was, but it was a number I didn't recognise, and it was just like, "Hey, just FYI, it's so and so from the Sydney Stars. We're going under. Like we're not putting a team in."
The RA money fell out. Fox Rugby money.
So I was like, man.
Yeah.
So, then I tried to sort of put some feelers out. And, at that time, there were good young props. Angus Wagner was coming through. He's over with the Force now, a good mate of yours.
Yeah.
But, lots of good young props coming through. So and I was like 26, so they were like, no, we're good.
No, yeah. Well, that's the bridge you needed, I guess.
But
going back to Tyrell's story,
that's
just what we're missing at the moment. So all my memories from NRC are really positive, and I feel as if that platform helped me launch into a good pre-season into a really good Super Rugby season. So I just miss those days of I think from my time in that, it really helped me get my first professional contract. So I don't know why that's still not around. It sort of sucks, but
it's tough. But and as you say, that was probably your first kind of exposure to a professional-ish program. It's shorter program.
Yeah, sure. But you're on the road and you're in 3-4 times a week. It wasn't full time, but it was pretty close to a taste of full time rugby.
Yeah, so it's funny. I was thinking about what what we were going to talk about today when you came in, and I have this memory which I doubt you'll remember. You mentioned coming into the 20s program with Russell Ingram was the coach, and that Brumbies 20s program was pretty full on back then.
Yeah, it was.
People won't sort of realise now, but it was it was quite professional and it was a big commitment from the boys. But I remember the Vikings, who I was playing for, we played a trial game against the under-20s.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Your team, and I didn't know you. I hadn't met you yet because you hadn't done preseason with us. You were off with the 20s.
Yeah.
And early in the game, one of the my first carry anyway, I sort of look up and I see this big tall dude, and I'm like,
big tall lanky
fella.
Run over this fella.
And I'm thinking, yes, awesome. He's not going to be able to bend down to get me. So I'll get rid of him, and then I'll sort of shoot through and I'll look for an offload or something. This delusional thinking, right, from a tight end prop. And I get sort of a short ball, and I was too flat, but you just shot out of the line and just cut me in half. I dropped the ball, right, and then I was pissed off with myself, and then. When I say you carried on, you fucking carried on. Big chahooing and clapping. And I was like, fuck this guy.
And you're going to rock up in 3 weeks and get on the field with him and play tuggies.
Well, and then, so I was angry. I was just angry with you the whole game. And I don't remember. I actually don't even remember the result. I don't remember getting another opportunity. But that memory just is seared in my brain. And then... a couple of weeks later, I see you roll into Tuggies training. I'm like,
fuck this guy.
I have to be nice to this guy now. Teammate.
All I remember from that game was bloody Big C. Just he was probably twice the size he is now.
Yeah,
and he just ran straight over all of us. Including myself 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he did what I wanted to do, right? He's my hero.
Yeah, it's probably full taste of playing men. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, was that that would have been your first sort of introduction to club footy?
Club footy. Yeah, because I came straight down from after school. Didn't play club footy up there. Just came straight down and did like under 20s pre-season. And then my first sort of game out of school was that.
Yeah,
would have been that game. Because that was our first trial game, I think. And then just rolled into that under 20 season. Then obviously came back and played Tuggies, and then NRC that season. So
because you had quite a, obviously we played together, but you were sort of mostly in Colts that year. Played a bit of first grade. But so for me watching from year 1 to year 2, and I promise we'll get off this NRC thing in a minute, but watching the progression for you from year 1 to year 2 was actually incredible. And you probably didn't realize it at the time, but I'd say you reflect on it now. Like, you went from being a kid in my eyes, someone who was just finding their feet as a footballer, to in year 2 being a leader. At the club level anyway. Like, you really, it was like, I remember rolling into preseason just thinking, wow, this guy's got something.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was probably just more like the exposure I got. I think, being in that NRC program, like I remember playing with Rory, and Sam Carter, and I just watched those guys on TV the previous year, playing for Brums and the Wallabies too. And like I was just pinching myself pretty much. I was very excited and just very keen to get under their wing and just learn as much as I could. So that sort of helped me heaps. And then I was lucky enough to do a pre-season as well. So you obviously get pretty fit and fast, not fast but strong. I'm not fast, but never have been. But
you got big strides, mate. You cover
strides,
lots of surface area with you.
Yeah, I get a bit of stick. I'm not the fastest bloke. Far from it. So
everyone's got their thing though, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're an excellent line-out jumper.
Yeah, I'm a line-outsman. I'm happy with being a line-outsman and a maulsman. That's it.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Because as a front rower, like, I had an understanding of line-outs, of my role in line-outs, and I think to the fan, even the diehard fan, probably don't realize how much strategy and preparation goes into developing a line-out, and also becoming really clever and really strategic about your calls.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about the work that you do there and some of the things in a game that you're looking for that sort of dictate the way you call?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time just you're doing a lot of preview.
Yeah.
Like preview and review, you're reviewing the things that you did well and the things you can clean up and do better. And then you're previewing the team, your opposition, and seeing for little weaknesses or little triggers that they might have that give you an opportunity to get up defensively. Or even in attack, there might be like a sloppy jumper that you're looking to target. And those are things I've picked off, like off carts, off Rory, off Dan McKellar especially. He was the line out the maul technician back when I was like my first few years. So I learned a lot off those guys, and like very grateful to have sat underneath them, because I don't think if I wasn't, then I don't think I'd be like the line out mauls guy that I am today without them. So, but yeah, half of it's just preview, review, and just trying to pick up as much as you can. And that way you're well prepared going into the game. Like I'm fully confident going into a game because I know I've done all the review, all the preview, all the opportunities and weaknesses that you can find, and then it's just going into the game and back in your systems you have in place. And I truly believe that if you have a good system, then like the defenses can't touch you really. So and that's a good system for me. Sort of is built on consistent spacing, speed and execution across the ground and into the air, and pair that up with powerful lifts and clean deliveries and all those little things. But yeah, if you just have a good base to set off, consistent means your hookers can throw really well, and then you can just call to the space, and then go back to the review preview. Like there's always going to be space in a line out to win. You can't defend it all, and so you just pick out a few options that you can really lean on that week, and then you go into it.
Mate, that's. I'm a real rugby geek, so I get really excited when you start talking about lineouts, and hopefully I'll get anher front row on here. We can do an hour and a half on scrums. But no, I think what you said there is really interesting. About your system. You have good systems, you can be successful. I think that's a really good metaphor for business, for life. If you can systemize things, you can always fall back on that. And I really like what you said too about consistent spacing. Like, is that and the little lifts, good strong lifts. Is that something that you guys are really holding yourselves accountable for?
Yeah. That's sort of just a non-negotiable. Like every week, you've got to have consistent spacing. You're strong and powerful into your lifts. You're quick across the ground. If you can lean on those things, then you've got no excuse. You can't just say, defense was good that week, or hookers you under through that. Like you just have a good base that you always rely on, and it's bulletproof, so to say, and then that you'll be rock solid. So I think the Brums as a whole, traditionally have been a really good set piece team, and that's come from I feel just good work ethic and practice off the field. Boys work really hard, and that's not just on the field; that's off the field doing a ton of preview, ton of review, and just looking for little gains to get better there in that space. So,
and would it be fair to say that a lot of that's been passed down? You talked about Sam and Rory, with you, but if you go through the lineage, you got guys like David Giffen and Dan Vickerman, and there's just this history of the DK Salmo, like there's this history of really excellent lock play. So would it be fair to say, that's something that's contributed to that as well? That level of accountability has been passed down, and that knowledge has been passed down.
Yeah, bloody oath. It's sort of just without sort of sounding, a bit cliche, but there's a bit of a culture there, like a set piece culture, and I think that's what makes Brumbies like a really strong team. They have really strong set piece.
Always traditionally.
Traditionally. Good scrum, good line out, good maul. Defensively really good in those areas as well. So if you have good set piece, it's something you can really rely on in the game. You're deep in your half. You can lock down a scrum, get a penalty, walk it up the field. That's like field position. You just play out another penalty, field position. You take a three. You walk them all over. It's simple. Like the Crusaders do it really well. Too. Like they're another team that just rely on that and just lean on their maul, lean on their all 5-10 out.
I love that you brought them up, because I'm a stats guy, and I do my own stats because I'm a nerd. But if you look at the Crusaders traditionally, they don't have huge carry meters.
No,
they don't miss many tackles.
Yeah.
But when you dive into the set piece stuff, it is elite.
Yeah.
They win all their lineouts, they lock down their scrums, and they really do build the platform off their set piece. And I think from a fan's perspective, that's one thing that's definitely overlooked as a facet of the game. Everyone understands attack and defense, and some of the tactical kicking and that kind of thing. But the set piece, if you've got a crap set piece, if you can't win a clean ball at lineout or scrum, you just can't lay a platform for your backs to have space.
No, it hurts you. I think the perfect example of that is Crusaders, the Super Rugby Pacific Grand Final in 21 or 22.
Yeah, they won both. So
they did win both. Against the Blues. At Eden Park. They starved the Blues of lineouts. Absolutely starved them. They couldn't win a lineout to save their lives, and that just came off the back of really good system. Defensively they were super disciplined, and they just stole a line out, walked up the field, won a good line out, played, went to a maul, scored a try. People just say it's pretty boring, but that's that's good rugby. Yeah, it's good rugby. It's easy rugby to play anyway.
It's funny. It depends on who you talk to. You know, I was speaking to a winger or former winger recently, and he said it's bullshit. You know, the hookers are topping the try scoring every year.
they're spewing it. It's funny because it used to be the 7. You know,
because
the leading. The sliding,
the slide back.
It's the slide one, but now it's all the hookers. Oh, Flowerfang up. Like he was
My favorite is when you can see the halfback like slapping them on the back, like give me the ball. And you're like, no, I'm good. I'm going to walk this over.
Lyle just used to just put his head in and just know that we'd score a try.
Yeah,
and I think he was the top of the like in 2019 or
2019. I think he scored 11 or 12.
Yeah, I think he was second or tied second or something like that.
Yeah,
at the top, and that's when all the South African teams were in as well. Like it was like it wasn't easy to do, but like he was just scoring try after try every game.
And I think you sort of said people think it's boring, but again, like and I was lucky enough to have an office that overlooked the Brumbies training field. I didn't work for the Brumbies, but my office was there for some reason, and the amount of work that went into to nailing that aspect. Was actually really impressive. And when I say the work, like it's full noise. Yeah. It's not you go here, and this is what we do. Like it's guys in some guys in bodysuits just flying in, trying to make it difficult. Like it's impressive.
Yeah, I guess the only way you get good at it is just doing it. Just doing it. And sometimes you just gotta strip it down and do it raw. Like it's bloody hard. Like it's hard work. It's hard work, but it's just. Just takes a bit of hard yakka sometimes.
And I think it speaks to, one of the things that's unique to sport, but maybe unique to rugby, is that there is an opportunity in every game. And, it's not always flashy. It's not always on the highlight reel. But everyone on a team has an opportunity to be the star of a moment. Yeah. And I think it's pretty unique to rugby. Props, scrum times, that's their thing. Yeah. Hookers, lineouts, nailing that throw. Locks, it's also lineouts, but it's the catching and the delivery and calling the lineouts. Everyone has an opportunity within a game. The maul is a real forward pack. Yeah, that's their time to shine, kind of thing. Because the backs get the highlights. They do.
They get all the highlights.
So I think that's something that's really unique to sport, because I think in every team sport, there are things that you're good at, and coaches will try to put you in positions to do the things you like to do. Yeah. But, rugby's so unique in that we have a position for every body type. Yeah. Yeah. And we have an opportunity within a game for everyone to be the star. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah. Mate, like I said, going back to the bloody under 13s, like if I wasn't tall, mate, I don't think I'd be playing rugby. Like I'd just be on the tools or bloody at uni or something like that. Like I'm very lucky I'm tall. We can't teach height, they say.
That's true. Height and speed. Yeah, so you got one.
I got one. Yeah. Well, Frosty's got both. He's so quick. Yeah. So quick and athletic. But yeah, he's a beast. I wish I could have the speed he has.
There are just guys who have it, right?
Yeah.
They've just got something extra.
Yeah, Charlie Cowell.
He's another one. I tell you what,
on the weekend, he's a freak.
Yeah, I tell you what. I was reflecting. So this will air later in the year, but we've just done round 1 Super Rugby for those listening. Charlie Cowell. It's the first time in a while I've been really excited about an 8. Yeah. We've had good 8s over the years, but what he just did against the Rebels was impressive. And it looks like he has every skill. Kicks, catch, pass, tackle. He carries hard. He's quick. He's big. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was very impressive.
Yeah. 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 No, he's just a freak, mate. Like it's good. I can't get over it. Like when he first came down, he was athletic. He was fast. He was skillful, and then after a couple of years, he got really hard as well. Like there's 1 or 2 mauls on the weekend where he could have just bailed out and just been a bit of a softie, like pretty easy to just wimp out there. But he's just developed in the last year. I feel like just a bit of edge about him. It's really good to see.
Is it nice as a teammate to see that? Because you get to see the body of work, right? Yeah. So to see it actually translate to an opportunity in the first instance, and then to grab that opportunity,
bloody oath! Like you just love seeing that.
Yeah.
He's like, everyone knew when he came down from Sydney that he was like, there was something about him. And you know, you say that like it's cliche or whatever, but like he was tall, like he was athletic, he was like he just had it all. And then, you know, when he started mauling, maybe you could see like he didn't like it a bit. But, like, he's a bit of a pretty boy, so maybe
those Sydney kids,
pretty
mate.
boys. Yeah, he's an Eastwood boy. But no, once like because he was Dan's last year, McKellar's last year, he was that was his first year, and so he still had a few of those like older fellas that knew him, like Falau, like really roughed him up a lot.
Yep.
Scotty Sierra really roughed him up a little bit, and so like that's obviously come through the last few months, like couple years, I reckon, and like I reckon he'll dead set be the next Wallaby for a long time. I think like if he keeps sticking to his trade, he'll be really good. It's 1 year, well, like one round at Super Rugby. It's easy to say, like, I guess one performance against the Rebels, but like I honestly hope that he keeps sticking at it because he's a bloody talent. Yeah, it's good.
But it's and it's obviously a big call, but that if that's game one and that's maybe a median performance, maybe that's if that's not the roof, then as you say, anything is possible, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like that's only I think his fourth or fifth game as a Brumbies, so he's got like a long way to go. That's for sure. Yeah.
No, it's so I got really excited, and then stats nerd. I did the stats, and I was like, oh, okay, really impressive.
Yeah.
So I call it the Rugby Impact Score, or RIS.
Yeah, RIS.
That's for the young people listening.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
He had, I think it was 37.7. So he had the third highest score across all of Super Rugby.
Yeah,
highest score for a forward.
Yeah.
For that week, so it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, he had some great touches, like even just hard carries, like really slick hands. Yeah, like you saw that kick. He's a very skillful guy. And you put him outside on the outside channels, and he gets like a good offload away. Or like he's so capable of doing that sort of things. And then in tight, like he's got that. Like I said, he's got a bit of edge about him now, so he can take a hard carry and all that. So yeah, he's very well rounded. So hopefully he just keeps ticking along and keeps getting better. And yeah, I know he'll get there, which is good.
Yeah. Anyway, back to you, to you, mate. But look, I really like hearing that stuff, because I think the Brumbies it's a unique building. It's a unique team. I can't remember the exact figure, but I think like 1 in 3 players who plays for the Brumbies plays for the Wallabies.
Yeah.
So and to hear the genuine excitement in your voice about a teammate.
Yeah.
Is really cool. And I'm sure there were, the Sam Carter and those guys who were your vets, the guys who mentored you. I'm sure they were whipping it up when you got your Wallaby cap too.
Yeah, they sent me a few messages. It's good. Honestly, I'm very happy to get messages from them.
Yeah.
It, meant a lot, because you're the apprentice and they're the master, and I was just trying to keep up with them, and so I was pretty happy when they messaged me. Yeah.
What was that moment like? You obviously you don't just sort of rock up and play for the Wallabies. There's a bit of a build, and there was your camps and that kind of thing. But when you sort of first saw your name read out, or your name up on the PowerPoint presentation, what was that like? What was that feeling like?
Yeah. I sort of just blacked out for a bit. I was just so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I didn't even listen to the rest of the team list. And it was funny because I didn't actually realize Lenny was debuting that game as well.
Yeah.
He was 23, and I was just sitting there like, far out. And then after, everyone's like, dapping everyone up, and then I see Len and everyone's dapping her up, and then I'm like, fuck, he's
so
we're debuting again. Then I was like, Len's debuting as well. And so I was so happy. But and it was it was an unreal game. Like, got to play with Nos, got to play with Noah, got to play with Lenny. Like, three guys that we all sort of came up together. So that was like just all the more special. Yeah,
because you guys all lived together at one point, right?
Yeah. We lived at the Harricks and the mansion just down the road.
Yeah,
Mighty Tuggeranong Vikings house. Yeah, a few stories out of that. I think Christian lived there. Ridiculous son lived there.
It's iconic. It's an iconic house.
Yeah, everyone in Canberra rugby knows about the Harricks.
Yeah.
So I was, quite lucky. Big Ogs is still living there, I think.
For the listeners, there's a club official who lives in this house. I think it's 4 bedrooms.
Yeah,
five bedrooms.
5 bedroom. Oh yeah, it's sort of like a little breezeway, and you can turn that into a 6th.
Yeah.
Pretty dodgy.
But there's a club official who lives. Yeah, don't tell the landlord. There's a club official who lives in a detached sort of room at the property and helps the boys transition from being living at home to the life of a young professional football hopeful.
Bachelor. Canberra bachelor.
Young bachelor, yeah. But it must have been, you sort of touched on it, but it must have been just an incredible feeling because it was I guess it was cool for me as, someone who played with you guys.
Yeah.
And you sort of had this meteoric rise in club footy. Like I remember seeing Len for the first time. I think he came down the same year you did, or maybe the year after.
Year after.
And I was actually working for the club at the time. And Tim Sampson was the head coach, and he comes in and goes, "Liam, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone who's looking for an apprentice? We got this guy, Lenny Kitao, coming down, and he wants to do an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
So that was my job to try and find him. And then I don't know, a couple of weeks later, played a trial game, and he was playing first grade.
Yeah,
and he shot up out of the line and just absolutely murdered someone.
Yeah.
And I looked at Sambo. I was like, I don't think he's going to need that apprenticeship.
Oh, he didn't need it.
But
Freak,
I guess from my perspective, you guys all came through at similar times.
Yeah.
Meteoric rise at the club, but then, meteoric rise in Super Rugby and then into the Wallabies too. So it was so cool for me. That's my claim to fame. I played with those 3 guys. We won a premiership together.
Yeah.
But it must have been just amazing for you to know that, your best mates, you're getting to do this together.
Yeah, that's what sort of made it all the more special, I guess. It's just, you're just going on that, it's a dream. It's like you dream of it. I literally, when I finished school, I just wanted to play professional rugby, and I wanted to be a Wallaby. So, to be able to do it with someone, to do it someone side by side, it's literally like Lenny's my brother. We've literally done it side by side, and I'm just grateful that I've got someone that we can just talk about anything together. It's just pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice to have someone similar age, going similar stage of life, so to have, and someone who's going through similar things.
Yeah,
at a similar time. You've both had adversity recently.
Yeah.
With your footy careers. I know that he's just become a father. I know you're
baby boy on the way.
Got a baby boy on the way.
Yeah.
So it's from my experience, I was sort of I was one of those guys who was like in a rush to do everything. So I was like the first of my mates to have kids, and so it was hard not having that sort of support network at times. But it must be nice to have that person that you can lean on all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I just ask him questions about his little boy Lennox.
Yeah,
knocks you all the time. Just what's going on? Like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? So we have him for dinner every now and then, and we go over to theirs too, and just yarn. So it's really nice. Just have that someone away from family, because obviously he's from Brisbane as well. My parents are still up north as well. So a lot of my family in Cairns still as well. So it's nice to have someone down here that you can you can call family, I guess, and no, it's just awesome. Like I feel really at home in Canberra. My partner's from Canberra.
Yep.
So
it's interesting. Canberra does that to people. Like I assume when you got here, you were like, "Fuck this weather."
my first winter here, yeah, just absolutely barren. It's like the Harricks has got no heating.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was just all very poor heating. So
Yeah.
just your windows is like this thin bloody ply of plastic, not even glass. It's just And my bed's right next to the window, so there's nothing I can do about it. It's either right next to the window or jam it behind the door and have a half jarring door to get through to your bedroom. But those are the sort of the little things you remember and you keep with yourself. So I
guess to my point, Canberra has this way, and I'm a good example. Canberra has this way of sort of people come from everywhere, and they get a job in Canberra or whatever. Yeah. And most people come here with the intent to use it to go somewhere else.
To go back to Sydney,
go home, or it's like a stop. Initially, it's like a stop. And I've worked with a couple of other local professional sporting organisations. So we bring in athletes from, we've brought in athletes from the US. But it has this way of grabbing you and making you feel like making it feel like you're home. I sort of hopped around overseas early in my footy career, and then I had an opportunity to come back here and do a little bit of work with the Brumbies and play locally. But my intention was to do a year, like do the year, and then go up to Brizzy or go up to and it's been 15 years. Been 15 years, and now I've got 2 kids, a wife, and a mortgage. So
it happens, it happens. Oh yeah, no, so many blokes have done the same. Sort of just bought a house here. You have kids here, you meet your partner here, and you're set. So that's probably me. I'll be around in 15 years too, mate.
Oh dear. Look, I want to ask you a little bit. I mentioned just before you had some adversity in your footy career. And you really highly publicised, especially in the New Zealand media. That sort of clean out that caused an injury. And I guess I just wanted to ask you about, after the game and in the sort of weeks afterwards, like how did that all make you feel? Because look, I've played with you. I know your character. I was on plenty of message boards defending you. Because anyone who thinks that you go out to injure someone is just ridiculous. Just like it's your livelihood, it's the other person's livelihood too. And 2, if you think you've got enough time to make that decision in the moment when you're trying to secure the ball is just ludicrous. But I remember at the time just really feeling for you because you're a young man, made a mistake, but you were just vilified.
Oh yeah. Like I just got to wear it at the end of the day. Like I'll always regret it. Like I'll deeply regret what I did. It was just an accident. I go in there trying to compete and be as aggressive as I can, but I never go out there to try and hurt someone. And I'll always regret that because I took him out of the game for a year, and it's obviously a big year with the World Cup as well. So take him away from no club footy, no Super Rugby, no international. Like I'll always regret that what I did to Quinn. But at the end of the day, it's it's done now, and all I can do is just show people that that's not me. Because I did struggle a little bit, like in that sort of headspace. And I don't want to talk about like, oh, poor me, whatever, because whatever, like I'll wear it. What I did wasn't right, but I just felt like I was that sort of guy, and like I'm a bit of a shit bloke, like, but I didn't mean to do it, and
I think and we're all guilty of this. If you hear something enough, you start to start to kind of believe it. And I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but from an outsider's perspective, looking in, tough sort of time to be a Wallaby. Lots of media, already sort of negative media about the Wallabies, and then to sort of have that coupled with some really targeted individual talk, media, whatever you want to call it, lots of noise, head noise.
Yeah.
You know, I really commend you for owning it. And you know, for such a young guy to be able to kind of navigate it the way you did, I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah. I think, it's just, you know, it happened almost 2 years ago now, and like I think the best thing I can do for it now is just to get out there and play more footy and just show people that that's not me. Because it's not. Obviously, like I did that, and then the previous couple games, I obviously headbutted Johnny Hill. Like it wasn't a headbutt, but it got quite frustrated and just lashed out. So again, but that's I've just got to learn to control my frustrations then, and I have done a lot of work with the sports psych at Brumbies, Guy Little, and I feel like I'm on a good way to be able to, you know, control my mental space. But now I think it's just trying to get out there and play a bit more footy and compete and not lose that side of me, because I'm not a grub. People are, you know, Darcy Swain grub, he's a dickhead, you know, this that. Like sometimes I bloody carry on a bit. Like I will.
I know.
Exactly. Like I will. Like if something is just going on and to get the boys up, like I'll carry on. I'll carry on for that. But I'm not doing that and then carrying on. Like I'm not hurting a bloke and then carrying on. I'm just competing.
And I think, you know, when you watch what happened, which didn't get reported, you went straight up to him, and sort of tried to communicate. You know, he didn't want to have much to do with you, but you could see you went up to him on the field, to make sure to just check on him.
After the
game. So you know, there's a lot of stuff that wasn't reported. I guess. Which is hard too.
That's the sort of media, I guess. Like
Do you think that sort of, you know, working with a sports psych, do you think that's something that everyone should, you know, everyone in professional sport should be doing?
Yeah, bloody oath. I think, like, it's not a blanket approach. Like, you won't get the most out of it if you're going to have someone that just throws, you know, like a bloody, like a psychology book at you, like a uni bloody transcript or something. But but if you can find someone that personalises it for you and gives you ways to attack a problem, bloody oath, because it certainly helped me. And I know it's helped a lot of boys too in the group. Like a lot of guys, like Alan, who uses a sports psych. Noah uses one as well. I know a lot of boys do. And there's heaps of space. There's heaps of room in that space to get out. I think anyway. So,
I completely agree. I have some experience in the space, not from an athlete's perspective, because I wasn't a good athlete. Terrible golfer too, so it hasn't worked for my golf game either.
Yeah.
But when my son was born, I was coaching rugby sort of in Rugby Australia's pathway. I was traveling a lot. I was away a lot. I was, you know, late nights doing film review footage and that kind of thing, because it was kind of, I sort of had two jobs at that time. The coaching was one aspect, and it would sort of bleed into my day-to-day life. So when I had my son, it became really clear to me that I couldn't do both, all of that anymore. And then so I made the decision to stop coaching, at least for a period, and sort of focus on being a dad and whatever was next in my professional career. But at a point, I started feeling really down. You know, couldn't concentrate, real lack of motivation. I had a real problem being present with my son. And so it's actually my partner who she has a psych degree. She's not a psychologist, but she was like, you just need to go talk to someone who's not me. And I spoke to 3 or 4 different people before I sort of found someone that I was comfortable with, and they really helped me unpack the way I was feeling, and why, and you know, it really just came down to I made all of these these decisions all at once. All of these things happened all at once, and I
Yeah.
really didn't get a chance to process any of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now, having gone through that process and having a second child, I've been able to, and having been given some significant amount of leave to just focus on my infant baby girl has been really good. But I've been able to be really present with both kids and really kind of slow down and appreciate they're not going to be little for very long.
Yeah. Bloody oath.
And as a result of all that, my focus is much better. I've been able to kind of reorganize my life and prioritize the things that are important to me and make sure I've got time to do those things. So, I think everyone should seek that. Even if you don't feel like you need it, I think it's worth having someone else.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I know, it's sort of brought up in the media a lot these days. Like, a lot of people struggle with anxiety and depression and a lot of other, mental health problems. But the biggest thing you can do is just talk to someone. I feel anyway, and get it sorted. There's always a solution. I feel, and that's a real good tangent. I don't know the word. like a rugby real life scenario that you can connect it with.
Yeah, it's a parallel.
Yeah, good parallel because they're like, obviously on the field there's a lot of pretty stereotypical scenarios, but in day-to-day life you don't get many of those parallels. So for people listening, I guess that's it's really beneficial because it's not just for someone like a sports person or something like that. It's for everyone.
And I think we've all had days where we're down, we're distracted, and that bleeds into our work. We can't deliver what we're trying to deliver. Everyone's the same.
Yeah.
Athletes are the same. So if you've got clarity in your brain or in your mind, then you're able to perform because you can make the decisions you need to. You can act quickly. You can be decisive. If you've got lots of noise and lots of things that are distracting you, whether it is in life or in sport, work, whatever, it'll just make just makes things really difficult.
Mate, bloody oath. I think just thinking about that actually, because Steve Larkin-Burney, his approach this year and last has been really on that sort of mind trail. And every game before every game we'll get together, close our eyes, take a few deep breaths, and you can take the piss out of it, or you can actually really get something out of it. Connect with yourself, focus in on your role, not spend too much mental energy, because he talks about that all the time. You can go through a whole game day and play the game 3 or 4 times in your head. And this is not just the person who plays professional rugby. I used to do the same thing when I played for Tuggies. You'd be thinking about a bloody game I'm versing this guy. I played under 20s with him. He's coming to get me. I've got to go get him. And then you're thinking about, and you've played the game 2 or 3 times in your head already before you even played it. So it's just it's a really good way to, I feel that Steve's brought in, just to relax and bring everyone together.
And I think this idea of being present is really important.
Yeah.
Because we're all guilty of daydreaming and being somewhere else when we're in a room. But, being present in the moment, and not being somewhere else, not having the million distractions. I think that's really powerful if you can figure out a way to do that. Yeah. I think it's a really powerful way to help you perform in whatever endeavor you have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody nice.
Is there other stuff you're doing sort of away from footy? Do you have anything that you do just to take your mind off footy, to give you some purpose elsewhere?
Yeah. I do study. I do a little bit of study and play a bit of golf too. So
nice.
So, I was going to ask you after this what your handicap is. Go for it here. But I've studied for bloody 7-8 years now, so it's dragging on a bit. But I'll do 1 or 2 units a year, and then I'll just cut it, and then I just get really bad like that. And I've done that probably for the last 4 years. So I've got 5. I think after this unit, I've got 5 units to go. So if I can knock that over and I'm doing Bachelor of Business Management.
Good one.
So if I can just knock that over and walk away with it, I'd be really happy.
Mate,
knowing that I can have a bachelor degree underneath my belt.
Mate, I think it's really important. It gives you an interest somewhere else.
Yeah.
As someone who took 7 years to do
Yeah.
an undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
I certainly know it's, when you got other stuff going on, it's great that you've sort of chipped away at it. For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to give yourself some exposure to whatever's next. Once footy finishes, if you've got a degree under your belt, at least you've got some knowledge, even if you haven't had the work experience.
Yeah.
You've got the experience of being in a high performing team.
Yeah.
You've got the experience of work ethic, showing up every day, trying to get better. So those things are transferable, and then if you couple that with some actual knowledge, I think it actually accelerates.
Yeah.
It accelerates your progression once you're done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because Robin Duff, who's the professional development manager at Brumbies, she's been really good. She pushes a lot of boys into that pathway. So yeah, we're sort of lucky. We've got a good bunch of people at Brums that help us do that. Because I know heaps of boys do a lot of study. Like Lonas has done study. Connell, Allen, heaps of boys have done study. So,
well, and I think there's a real culture in rugby, maybe, which is a kind of a collegiate culture. Lots of guys study, which I think is really good. Because that's probably rugby's way of prepping guys for life afterwards.
Yeah.
There are other sports that do more things, because for whatever reason, but I think that's kind of rugby's way. But there seems to be particularly at the Brumbies, I've talked a lot about the Brumbies culture, but there seems to be a real culture of that. There's lots of guys, Ben Alexander, David Pocock, Dan Palmer. These guys are all very accomplished people, but very accomplished academics too.
Yeah.
Joe Roth is another one.
Yeah. Bloody oath. We just played. Cam Clark finished up recently. He's just walked into a finance gig. Cusack,
Tommy Cusack.
It's the exact same. So and that's off the back of doing all that stuff throughout your career. So it's obviously. I wish it could last forever, but it doesn't. So yeah.
But it's interesting because one of the things I do for work now is sort of help organisations push through significant change.
Yeah.
And whether that's a technology implementation or organizational restructuring and that kind of thing. And it's really interesting through that process. People typically have 3 to 4 career changes throughout their life. It's just unique that being a professional athlete happens at the front end.
Yeah.
And so for lots of people, they earn the majority of their money before they're 35. Yeah. For the rest of us, we earn it after 35. Yeah. So it's an interesting way to look at it. But rugby's just one career. You'll probably have 2 or 3 more. Yeah. When you're done, which is maybe it's exciting, maybe it's scary.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
Talk to me about your golf game. So those who followed me for a while know I used to have a golf podcast.
Oh yeah,
yes, yeah. Before my son was born.
Yeah,
blame it on the bogey. The feed is still there. So if you want to have a listen, you can. But I love golf. Golf to me is sort of the ultimate individual sport. Yeah. There's the mental aspect. There's a physical aspect. Yeah. There's so many. You can play a hole 100 times and it'll be different every time. Yeah. It's such a simple sport to play, but a really difficult sport to master and be good at. Yeah. Unless you're Geordie Barrett.
Yeah. He's a freak. Oh, it's so frustrating watching him. Yeah.
But for me, it was. I was introduced to it by my grandfather. Yeah. I used to spend, in preschool, so pre-kindergarten, I used to spend Fridays with him. Yeah. And he used to take me to the course. Yeah. Yeah.
How good.
Yeah. So, we started on the putting green. He wouldn't let me off them. Then, once he was happy with me on the putting green, we went to the range and then out onto the practice holes. Yeah. So, so for me, every time I play golf, I sort of hear his voice. Yeah. So there's a nice little connection there. But I love it. Yeah. I love it so much. And it's hard now. I don't get a lot of time to play, but when I do, I really appreciate it. But talk to me about your game.
Yeah. Oh, sort of it's only really kicked off in the last 2 years, I'd say. But before that, I was sort of just like an avid pitch and putter.
Yeah,
go
nice.
to the Narrabundah Range. Everyone listening from Canberra knows the Narrabundah Range. It's iconic. It's pretty much the only range in Canberra. So
Yeah.
you pretty much go there all the time, hit a few balls. And then I think I got my first set in 2019 or 2020. And just like an old Brosnan set, like extra inch.
I was going to say, it must be pretty long.
Yeah, needed the length. Otherwise, I'm just topping everything.
Yeah.
And then, sort of just would get a little bit better. And then, got myself another set, Wilson Staffs. And then I splurged out last year, got myself like a proper set.
Yep.
Like a split set. Anyway, but yeah, I sort of just play down at Gold Creek with a few of the boys. There's about 15 of us that take it quite seriously. Like we'll get out on a day off, play some golf, go to the range beforehand. Be on the putting green after, just having a putt, working out a few things. Yeah, it's mate, it's really good. Gold Creek down there look after us, and boys love it. Just get out as much as we can. We've actually got a bit of a Brumbies like a rivalry going on at the moment. Nice. There's about 6, 7 boys that are at Federal.
Yep.
We call them the Federal Tossers, Federal Rats. And then we're all just the humble bloody
the battlers
over there at Gold Creek. Just slogging away like 15 handicapper, 30 handicapper. Yeah, and they're all playing off like 8 and 4. So it's very skewed, but.
But I mean, I think that's the beauty of golf is that handicap system.
Yeah,
it equalizes the playing field, so you play to your ability.
Yeah,
which is great. It makes it very accessible because it's already an expensive sport.
Yeah,
so to have that system in place, I think is really really good.
A few lost balls and humble yourself, go up a few more tees. Yeah. So no, it's just a really enjoyable sport, like you said. Like it's just a good way to get your mind off things. You just go to the range and you're hitting the ball. Like you can't think of anything else when you're hitting a ball. You've got to think about how you're hitting your ball.
Yeah.
Your stance and your backswing and all that. I just love it. Like the PGA Tour. Like it's usually on in Australian time. Like like at 3 a.m. to 11 or something like that. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, if I'm going. Like I got training at bloody 8 or 9, I'll just wake up at 6, like do my morning thing, make a coffee, have some brekkie, and I'll just like flick the PGA Tour on. Just watch a few holes, go to Brums. Usually someone's KO is like logged on to the TV on the Players Lounge. I'll just flick it on to the whichever comp's on at the moment, and just watch it. I just enjoy it. Just a lot of boys do, and I think it sort of all started when it was my first year, and a few boys. Like Sammy Carter and Rory, they were really big into it as well. So I just sort of jumped on. I was like, I'll give it a go. And then boys would always go every second or third week. And, I'd sort of just plod along. And, it was really good fun. Yeah, Andy Muirhead does a good job at giving it to all the boys for sucking. Yeah.
But I think, you said it's a really good way to get your mind off the game or whatever. It's such a... As you say, you have to be so present when you're playing golf. But I think it's a much healthier escape than lots of guys do have lots of screen-based escapism. Play video games or watch a ton of Netflix or
go down to the pub, have a few beers.
Yeah,
obviously we can't do that. Or pokies or just like you can't play go social touch or whatever. Like we can't do any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so it's such a healthy way for you guys to remove yourself from the game. If you're playing as groups, then you're getting that sort of camaraderie and bonding.
Yeah.
You're getting to know each other really, really closely.
Yeah.
But then you're not thinking about footy. You're not thinking about your job.
Not at all.
You're
It's
thinking
just-
about you're just out in nature. In a good headspace.
Yeah.
I think
it's unreal.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I asked this question to everyone, and I think so far already there's been a bit of a common theme. But what is it about rugby that you love, and what is it about it that makes you want to keep getting after it, keep playing, continue?
Yeah. I think it's sort of going back to what you said. Like with rugby, everyone's got a specific role and a specific job, and it's specific to everyone's body type, skill set, and I'm tall, and you know I'm not running over blokes and put on big hits. I'm just I'm just taking lineouts and mauling and getting around and hitting rucks and chopping blokes. Like I just love that I can play my role for the team, and that's sort of feeds into I just want to get better at it, you know, and I feel as if I can be really good at it. And at the moment, I've slipped off. I know I've slipped off, and I'm not where I want to be. So, yeah, that sort of just feeds me in that sort of desire to want to get better. Because I love line out. I love just watching tape. Yeah, I watch like Six Nation games back on the computers and just think, oh, that's a cool lineup we could use, or something like that, or run it against the boys, see how they defend it. Yeah, and then like getting around the field, and I think even just watching games, like I love watching Scott Barrett and Sam Whitelock, because I think they've, like Sam Whitelock in particular, he's gotten like a carry game, like fends a lot of people. Like last year anyway, like he'd fend a lot of people off and stuff, and I thought, I can try to do that too. I can try to do that. He's like getting his head over, like he won that mad turnover against Ireland in the semi-final.
Yeah.
Won them a game.
Yeah.
And like I think 10 years, he's not that old.
But maybe at the start of his career, he didn't have that.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm just thinking, you know, like that's something I can do as well. So, you know, that sort of just feeds into the desire of like I just want to get a little bit better, and I just want to sort of add things to my game. Obviously, I'm not going to add Bobby Valentini in my game. I'm not running over 10 blokes. Like I'm not going to try and be Tooley and run around, or Charlie Cale and run around 5 blokes, because I'm just not going to be able to do that. I remember against the Crusaders in 2019. It was my first start, and I got a little, like a blindside opportunity. E-Ray jumped out blindside, took 2 people on, and then I just rolled on the inside of him, and I was away, and I put a kick in. I just stupidly put a kick in. And, stupidly put this kick in. It goes, like, I had the right idea. But anyway, till this day, everyone just gives me smack about it, because it just comes off the side of my boot. Shanks goes in the middle of the field, and then Richie Moonga's just running, picks it up, gets a clean line break or clean kick, and like that's opportunity done. You know, like I could have just held on to that, or just looked around to my left. Joey Power's there, give it to him. He probably runs in close to scoring. So, like I like to think I can do some of that stuff as well. So, whenever I do get my hand at trying that sort of stuff, you know, man, like when I was at Tuggies, I bloody do all these stupid flick pass, and I remember doing like a kick down in a semi-final against Queensland Whites to Snaky, a little grubber into the corner. And it worked off, but that's like 1 in 5 for me. You know? That's like a 1 in 5 thing for me, if that. You know, so
I think you know, like when there's probably like 3. I can count on one hand like 3 times where I personally got into space, like in behind the line. I had no idea what I was doing.
Nah, you're just going to avoid it. Your mind goes blank.
So where is everyone? Where are my friends?
That's it. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. Don't know what I'm doing.
But I love that. I think that's a really good way to kind of, you know, to sum our game up, and you know, it's obvious. It sounds like, you know, it's really sincere the way you talk about it. You know, having your role and being, you know, the best you can be at your role. Yeah. And I think, you know, that's something I hear Tom Brady talk about. You know, he never wanted to be the greatest of all time. He wanted to be the greatest version of himself. Yeah. And I think that if you can have that mantra, I think that's really powerful. Yeah. This was fun.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. That's it for this week of the Given Rugby podcast. I'd like to thank everyone for listening or watching. Please don't forget to like us on social media. We're at Given Rugby. We'd also really appreciate a subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. If you really like the show, we'd love a review, because that helps permeate the podcast across all of the platforms and will show the podcast to others who like rugby. Finally, don't forget to join the Given Rugby Club, where we're going to be giving away exclusive content, early episodes, access to guests, access to me. So please don't forget to head over to givenrugby.com and sign up for the Given Rugby Club, which is just $5 a month. Finally, thank you to our sponsors, and we look forward to the next episode next week.